Neal, I know you weren't here for 2008, but you've been, or 2018 rather, sorry, but you've been here plenty to know what this rivalry between the Jets and Nashville is all about. Are these the games where, as much as you try to approach it the same way, it's just a little bit of extra buzz maybe for this matchup?
Yeah, it's always a heavy physical game, Central Division game. So we kind of know what's happening, what's coming every time we play these guys. So we'll be ready tonight.
From the physicality point of view, you and Brenden have really been ramping it up. It seems. I don't know if it has just been coincidental, but every night between the two of you, there's anywhere between 8 and 10 hits. Is that just a time of the year thing, or are you starting to pay a little bit more attention to that part of the game as well?
It's just part of what we do naturally. And then I also think we feed off each other. He sees me hit a guy, and he wants to make some louder noise. So, a little bit of both. We feed off each other, and it's what we've always done. So,
184 to 179.
In what?
In hits.
Who's winning?
You're not. So, do you have to? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do a fact check. But is there any friendly competition? When it comes to that.
Now there is. Now that I know it's close. Yeah.
You want to know the block shots too?
I'll mention it. Yeah. We'll divide it up by pounds too. See who's up.
Pounds per hit.
Yeah, pounds per hit. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's a good point. I mean, you're not the biggest guy out there, so do you have to pick your spots and not wear down, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, I've gotten in trouble with that before. Not so much. Well, I guess my entire career, all the way back to youth hockey when we started checking. So it's something I'm conscious of. I know I'm smaller, so I can't run around and try to make those big hits because I'll end up falling or getting myself out of position. So there's definitely as I've gotten older, there's been more of a conscious approach to it.
Always like this, even as a kid, or when did it start that you realized you should do this?
Yeah, it used to be worse. I think every coach I ever had, including my dad, had to sit me down at some point during the year and say, you can't do that. You're doing it too much. So that kind of tapered off towards the end of my college career. Got a little more mature with it. So, but yeah, it's something I've always done. Growing up with four brothers, probably. Yeah, it's just we were all kind of that way too. I guess it's just how we grew up in the basement and ramming into each other and hitting each other. So I guess that's carried over into my entire career.
What's been the worst result of it over the years?
My youngest brother's gotten the worst result of it over the years. A lot of tears, a lot of scoldings from mom. So, yeah, she used to get pretty mad at us.
Does it ever really come back to bite you? Like, have you got badly hurt by one, or maybe a big guy that you shouldn't have got mad, or?
Oh, like me hitting somebody? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Try to take a run at somebody that's 6'5". It's not going to work very often. And like I said, it used to be a lot worse. I'd run at the wrong guy back in Pee Wee or Bantam hockey, and he'd take a run back at me, and I'd get the worst end of it. So it's more of a conscious approach now, like I said.
From the lost art of the hip check, Neal.
Early 2000s hockey? I don't know. No one specifically. Again, it's just something naturally developed, I guess. And same thing, you got to be conscious with it, though. If you're looking to do it or planning to do it, you're going to get yourself out of position.
What about the Pionkian pirouette? We haven't seen that move brought out of the cupboard for the last little while. Are you saving it for a big time, or?
I'll keep the same theme going. Used to be worse when I was younger. I used to do it a lot, and it would work most of the time, but when it didn't work, it was really ugly because I was the defenseman, and like I said, almost every coach I had said, hey, come on now, you can't be doing it every time. So kind of the same thing like I just said to John. It's you can't go out there and plan it. If you go out there and plan it, you're going to get in trouble. It's just something that happens naturally, and you read off the play and make it happen if it's there.
You brought up, not taking yourself out of position. So, how much of an important decision-making process is that, Neal, when you got a guy lined up, and you don't want to go looking for it, I guess, as opposed to just let it be a productive type of impact.
Yeah, it's huge. I think the higher you go in levels of hockey, the faster transition and turnovers go back towards your net. So if you're taking yourself out of position, those chances go to your net way faster. It's something you learn growing up. You get to junior, college, American League, now in the NHL. You get yourself out of position, you screw your teammates for one, but then the transition and the chances against go by really fast.
This is off opponents now. Do you hear from them a fair bit, or?
I'm sure I do. Yeah, it is what it is. It's part of my game, and it'll always be part of my game.
They can't say anything to you you haven't heard from your brothers before anyway, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Now you think, as far as headspace and ready for the stretch run? How do you look at it?
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. We're in a heavy spot. We've had a couple games that we didn't love, but I like looking at the positive side of things. We've had some games we played really well defensively, not giving teams a lot of chances. So, of course, we went through that stretch there in the middle of, I think it was November, December, where we won 8 in a row, and we were playing really well defensively. So, working our way back towards that, and we should be good to go.
To play at this time of year because everybody's picking it up?
It can be. Just with the heavy schedule, it can be, but I think we're all capable of doing it. If we all stick to our systems and we all work together, I think we can get back to it.
Neal, what's the process like of welcoming in a new defenseman like Colin Miller?
A lot of talk, a lot of chatter, a lot of getting to know him, right? So it's just asking about life questions. You start there, and then hockey just comes naturally to all of us, right? So we talk about little plays, systems, tactically stuff, and you just build that chemistry from there.